All right then. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Warband Battlestream. First episode of Moot Point. I'm joined today by Scar.
Hey,
Hello, how are you?
very good. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Good. Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. Yeah, Anchor.
You right, man?
Yeah,
I'm good,
all
man. How
good.
are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for your service. Uh, and OGL.
Hello.
Uh,
You didn't
is-
ask me if I'm okay.
I don't care whether you're okay, really, because you arrived late for the first episode.
What's it called? Moot Point.
Moot Point. Yeah, it's like
I like that.
Yeah, it's quite clever, isn't it?
Quality name.
Yeah, pretty smart. In the background, that's just FTW for those of you wondering versus House Stark. We streamed that Sunday night, me and LaRue. It'll be up on YouTube in a minute. I think it might already be up. I've just not posted it yet, so you can go check that out. But today we're here to talk about the WNL, which has just started. We've had the first season, well, not the first season, the first week's just done. Season 8 of the WNL. We're going to talk the matches some of these guys played in, and then we're going to go through our tier list for each of the divisions, apart from C. Because I believe Zazu and a few of the other guys, Vincent, I think, are going to be talking about in a little thing they're putting together. So I didn't want to tread on their toes.
What
Oh,
thing?
that's cool.
And that sounds
Nice.
great. I don't know. Tade sent me a link, but I think they had a few audio problems. So keep an eye out for that, everyone. It'll probably be really good. So let's get into the meat of it. Anchor, what happened? You got you got absolutely battered.
Yeah, I know it didn't go the way we planned. To be fair, we're fairly confident going into it, but it just I think we just weren't expecting them to play so aggressive. Even though it was just Sandy, maybe the change in leader had that effect, I guess.
Who's our new leader?
Well, there was a bit of drama with I think they decided Apfel should take over leadership, and then
Oh, is that why
Watley
Watley left?
Yeah, and then he rejoined. So I don't know. I believe he's still leading.
So Absol took over going forward now, and Watley's just playing captain.
Yeah, apparently, yeah. This is the
Right.
rumor. I don't know how much of. I mean, Anchor, do you know any more about the drama of that? We like drama. Moot Point is a welcome home for drama.
I think that's the extent of it. To be honest, I think he just rage quit for a bit and then realised his mistake and rejoined.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
If you're not going to get us more details, we'll swap you for Matt on this show. So watch out.
I mean, to be honest, that's pretty big because Mazda have been going with Watley for quite a couple of tournaments, right? Like, and then just like pushing him away. And I mean, no offense to Apple or anything, but I think he's quite inexperienced with commanding.
Yeah.
Pretty big. It's a pretty big step.
I
for
wonder
Malta,
if
right?
they're just. I mean, they maybe they thought they'd hit their ceiling, right? Because Malta have been the third best team in the scene for quite a long time now, right? And maybe they're just thinking we're not going to get beyond that. And we've tried a lot of times, so they're just thinking maybe try a new leader out, see if we can up our game, and maybe finally kind of get over the Unity FT shaped bump.
Yeah. I mean, it could also be just a case that like they want an infantry commanding rather than a CAF player, which is like especially on maps like Sandy Bush where CAF can't even see everything that's going on because the map is so closed.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I don't know, I've never bought that thing. I thought that was always just an excuse made up by the other classes so they didn't have to command personally.
They've recruited some. Oh, go on. Sorry.
If you say that to Azan, I was gonna say like he's gonna have a 1 hour debate with you about
It
that.
is
I
true
think.
because like all Deacon's commanded as his inf, and all you have to do as inf is just hold your shield up. So it's much easier to command when you're imp.
Nubijuki seemed to do fine, didn't he? But anyway, we can talk about the game anyway. So they got battered on the close map. I don't quite know why. So you're just saying it's because they pushed into you really hard and your guys were panicking. Is that right, Luke?
Yeah, I think we expected them to play off their archers more, but like they recruited some good inf, and I think it's definitely Eda's first tournament with them. I'm not sure about Apfel. I think it's his first tournament with them as well, and they're both good inf. And so like Malta's not really the team you associated with having good inf previously, like 1 or 2 maybe, but not enough to go toe to toe with top 4 team maybe.
Yeah, that's fair, I think.
And then Eda played really well on that close map. So and I think he plays really well when you play when you play to your strengths, which is playing aggressive, and which is exactly what they did, which is why he racked up so many kills.
So Eda was just murking fools. I saw there was a bit of a brouhaha in the forum about him just stomping on you lot. Was he quite a deciding factor then?
Yeah, that's fairly accurate, I suppose.
Ex-Unity as well.
Yeah, I mean it's good to see him. Yeah. It's good to see him back playing at like a top level. I know after he was in FT, he's kind of been a little bit below the top level in terms of the team he's been playing at. Definitely someone who belongs on that top stage though, so it's good to see him.
I think he was
But
playing for Unity though briefly, right? With Lapache together.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not sure though. But yeah, definitely. I mean, he was quality on the close map, wasn't he? Just 12 kills or something like that. It's just stupid.
He's been
And
playing a lot of Bannerlord, so maybe all that practice paid off.
Most likely, if you can play Imp well on Bannerlord, Warben should be really easy. I mean, sliding about like.
And then the open map, how did that go? I mean, you didn't end up winning by enough, but it looked like a lot better from the screenshots.
Yeah, it was 6-2, I think. Pretty sure 6-2. Yeah, Cav played really well. I think in one round they got like literally all of the kills in one of the rounds, which I remember seeing, which is quite impressive to be fair. I think we have the best Cav lineup in the tournament, I'd say.
Really, that's a big
Better than
statement.
Sigs and Alex.
Sigs and Alex are pretty.
Sigs and Alex and who else? Like, you can't win a tournament with two Cav.
Janshar's pretty tasty.
Jan's
Yeah,
alright.
Jan's
Gibby's not bad at Cav as well. They're all pretty. They got
Yeah,
some
in
good backup
maybe in
Cav.
2020 he's alright Cav, but
I thought, to be honest, actually, and a nice little segue here, another team with what should be quite a good cavalry lineup, NWO. What were you thinking to that? Pretty tasty, right?
That's a good segue and an even better Cav lineup. The unfortunate reality is that you need more than a good Cav lineup, it turns out. After all these years of saying that all you need is Cav. We needed more than Cav.
Yeah, I mean, you got. I mean, it was an unholy slapdown, wasn't it? Really, you didn't win a single round. There was only one round that looked close. I mean, it was horrible to stream.
Well, I mean, you could ask me. I would have said not to stream it.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I asked Siegs, and that was a mistake.
What would you put that down to? Like, have you guys just not been playing enough?
That was literally our first match. As far as I'm aware, I only joined the team like a week ago, but that's I think pretty much our first match. So.
Huh.
But
I mean, still
even
though,
still,
like
we should have done
NWO
better,
is
yeah.
like remnants of Irish rebels, right? Everyone on that roster has played competitively before, and
Yeah.
they should all know what to do.
Yeah, like the lineup on paper is pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you could highlight weaknesses against FT, but you know, I think probably we should have had a round.
Yeah,
think-
definitely.
I think for me, looking at team, Anchor, have you guys scrimmed against NWO at all? Don't have to say the results, but
no,
have
we
they
haven't
been-
scrimmed. I
So
think
they-
that when he says first match, I think he literally means first
Yeah,
match.
literally, there didn't be any
Okay.
scrims.
So I think if I had to highlight an area on that team, I think I said it during the stream. Probably the infantry's a little bit lacking. Like it's not a class you can come out rusty on. Really, like if you've got like Dubeg, Wampa, Boris coming in, they have to be on top form to be able to compete with the likes of Charlini. They have to be grinding and playing a lot. And if they've just come back rusty, then that's always going to be a total mismatch.
I think especially with how teams have been playing, like very pushy, very aggressive, snowballing tends to happen quite easily, right? So if one imp crumbles, your whole sort of group crumbles, and
Yeah.
for that, only one imp just not performing up to the normal standard is enough, really.
You need some confidence as well. Like if people run at you, you need to be able to just like run back at them and fight them. And if you don't have that confidence, like you can it can snowball into from one round to whole sets just disappearing.
That is exactly though why the Unity Malta match was so surprising for me though, because people like Anger, Harvey, Brian, Thor, Lapache, they should all be able to put on the brakes right when they get pushed and just push back. They all know what to do. They've been playing for ages, all at the top level.
Don't know if I've ever seen Anchor push back anywhere, to be honest.
I only played one set to be fair.
Oh,
But,
really?
yeah, well, I was meant to play two, but then I was lagging in the last set, so and I had to go do
the classic
something.
losing lag.
So I mean, have you got lots of scrims lined up for this week? I guess, Eve, both of you.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, Unity do.
We've got one today. I'm supposed to be at it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sorry for taking you away. So I mean, I guess Anchor. Final question on Unity is: do you think that's just a one-off, and you're going to come back and be the team everyone hopes you will be to be able to kind of compete with FT and have this amazing potential grand final, or are you guys like a distant second or even third?
No, I'd say we're still probably favourites. I think that is definitely a one-off.
Well, hang about
Would
favourites.
disagree with that one.
I'd say favourites, yeah.
Really? Because
Yeah.
we'll talk about our
You
tier
can't
list
call
in a
we've got
little
four
bit.
more
favorites
weeks.
after
We've
they
got
got
4 more weeks.
smashed in like that. No way, man. Sorry, but you can't.
I'd
call
say
it.
I'm not. I mean, people will know, I guess, what are likely to be people's favourites. I think FT probably my favourites, with Unit a close second. Well,
To me, FT look like they're really a step ahead of everyone else, to be honest.
Yeah.
Especially watching the VOD of Apollo. They seemed so calm and collected, like there was no doubt in any of the action that they took. I think they're going to be really hard to
yeah,
take down, to be honest.
I would say it's easy to be calm and collected when you're like 9-0 up, isn't it? And under
Yeah, it's
no
how
pressure
you-
whatsoever. Like,
It's how you act when you have a couple of losses or whatever.
I think the
but
team
I
just
still agree.
works really well together. I think even their recruits make a lot of sense. Like they got a lot of really solid inf, but they don't require shit tons of attention from Cialini. They all kind of know what to do. Like it's really efficient the way they play. I don't know. I think it's going to be really tough for anyone to beat them.
I think there's a couple of personalities in that team which could end up clashing. I'll leave it there. But and OGL NWO.
Six and Apollo.
Are you guys going to be struggling? Do you think come the end of the season, like near the bottom, or are you hoping
the
you'll be able to
bottom.
pick up a few more?
No, I mean I think what we've done here is we've started off. You know how in like a sports film you have to start off at the lowest point, like you've had your crushing loss against your nemesis, and then we're gonna build up from there, and then hopefully we'll get a couple of wins under our belt against like FTW, who I think we could probably beat.
Could probably, but I mean, do you think will you? Like,
yes, definitely, 100%. I'll put money on it. Put my
Okay.
life on it.
there you go. You heard it here. OGL, they're going to crush FTW. What about House Start? I mean, how do you think you like? Well, we'll talk about our tier list in a bit, I guess. So I think that's probably enough about those matches. Was there any other kind of matches or stuff that happened in week 1 you guys want to talk about or point out some interesting results or anything like that?
I think actually like in the betting corner, like that Tade hosts, I had House Stark down as winners, and the first set you streamed it, right? Looked super promising, like super confident play by them. I think they actually just lost the match by themselves because of the weird setups they've been taking in the second set and on the open map. Like I think on Sandy Bush with Rodox they took like 5 in only 1 calf and 2 crossbows when they've been pushing and playing super aggressively. I just didn't make any sense to me. And the same on Nords where they went with the standard 4-2, and I don't know. I think if they had just kept on playing super aggressively, pushy, took the right setups for this play style. So Inf heavy and Calf heavy and maybe 1 Archer less, I think they would have won the match quite comfortably. But
Who's Cav for Stark? Can see
Uh,
Azarect, but
yeah, Azarect,
Ghazi,
Ayla
was it?
yeah, I think Ghazi's actually playing for FTW, but Ayla had a really strong
oh
performance.
yeah, Ayla's okay actually.
Ayla was dominant. Yeah, very very good.
Krishak, I think, can also play Cav.
Yeah, Krijak's mainly Cav. Yeah, he's been very good. He's got better and better. I think he's better than he actually used to be back in the old Wolves days. To be honest,
Yeah,
like, he's
I'd
pretty
agree,
strong
yeah.
Cav these days.
I mean, they're just a super strong team, and I think I'm personally, like from an admin point of view, I'm super happy we put them into Div A because I think they can actually cause some damage despite losing first week.
Yeah, and respect to them actually. Shout out to them for agreeing to go into Division A. There was a lack of volunteers, and
Definitely,
we had
yeah.
to pick one. They took it well. Respect to them for doing that, because it's not always fun going in the top division when you're one of those kind of lower teams, because they will be around that bottom 3. I think most people would agree it's like split into 3. We'll talk about it a bit later. So fair play to them. One of the matches I'd like to talk about is House Dane, I think it was, beating what they called the Assyrians or whatever.
Yeah, Syrian Empire.
Is that one Wookiee? Is it?
Was that House
Yeah,
Dane who beat them?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I was surprised at the like style of victory. I mean, they got absolutely hammered.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from, to be honest. 12-2 is just super decisive.
Is that the real rainbow on Dane though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
It is.
but
I think though, looking at the screenshots from the match, just solid performance by everyone on the team, to be honest.
I mean, it just surprises me. I think Anaconda's been such a stalwart of the scene for so long. His teams are always pretty strong. I know he was like, oh, I don't want to try hard, etc., which I respect. That's fair enough. But looking at that roster, there's a level of performance I'd expect from it, which I think isn't getting battered that hard by House Dane.
Yeah, I'd agree, to be honest. Like, I think players like Anaconda and Fieta and Horace, Royal, you name it, they will all say, okay, we are playing for fun, but after losing maybe 1 or 2 weeks, they're gonna be like, oh, this sucks. Let's actually let's put in some work, because just playing for fun and then just constantly losing, it's not fun for anyone, despite what you say.
Yeah,
And
losing's
as
not
you said,
fun. They're all
you
competitive people, aren't they?
exactly, yeah, and you would expect them to just try to like resemble a bit of Wookiee, but yeah.
Battle of
But
the role players there, isn't it? Because you've got one team pretending to be Assyrian Empire, and you've got the one team pretending to be House Dayton.
What wins? Like, law, Game
Well,
of
House
Thrones.
Dayton apparently. You got magic.
Game of Thrones law versus real life law. Anka, you're a Mercs player. Tell us what do you know about House Dane?
They played the game a lot, just in general. But I mean, most of these players on that roster played native anyway.
Yeah.
At least the guys that played in the official anyway. I mean, literally every single one of them has played for native teams for probably about 2 years. So some of the players, like Edric, has really surprised me. He played really well in I think it was, I can't remember what tournament it was, but I think they won one of the divisions, like the
Yeah,
Division C or Division B.
It was
Yeah,
season 7
WNL.
of the WNL. They did really well. Yeah, Edric
Yeah,
was absolutely killing
Edric
people.
got a shitload of kills, didn't he?
Yeah.
And even players like, I know Demon didn't play today, but he's on the roster. Like Demon, he's one of them players that probably could have been really good. Like he could have been played in top tier teams for years and years, but I think he just chose not to really.
Is that the good demon? There's one demon who's
Yeah,
really good,
yeah.
and I can't remember because there's 5 demons.
Oh, there's the
Can never-
Finnish demon's the one I know, the Colby demon guy.
No,
I think it's the
this one's
British one.
English. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
British.
he's good. Yeah.
He's fucking really good, but I think he just chose not to go to that next level really.
That's fair enough. I mean, it's a
Sort of same with
big
me, actually.
commitment, isn't it? Really, like, I mean, you joined a big team and did all the commitment stuff. You just weren't very good. And with that, we'll go on to our tier lists, and I'm sure you've all prepared. I mean, this is what everyone wants to hear, really, anyway, isn't it? I'm sure you've all prepared. We'll start with Division B. I'm going to do a quick little change of images so we can get the division up. Hopefully, this goes off without a hitch. There we go. Look at that. Not bad.
Look at that. Smooth.
Technology. Definitely not smooth. Me looking for the little eyes to switch off. Like.
Hashtag production
But
value. Let's go.
we got there eventually. Alright, hang on. We're not doing Division A first. We're doing. Oh, I've messed it up. There you go. Alright, that was a bit more smooth. So we'll start off with Division B. Now, a caveat, I imagine all of you are probably going to want to make, so I'll make it on your behalf. I don't know a lot about a few of these teams. Stuff like Invictus Legion, Menace, a few of those other teams. Like I know who's on Donor, but I don't know the team that well. So bear that in mind, I imagine, unless you guys know all about those teams, in which case I look forward to hearing it. We'll start off with who you've got as last place in Division B. Anke, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, in last place I got Menace. Their roster isn't the greatest. Like most of them are the kind of like Turks you see on fucking matchmaking, just going 0-5 every set.
Ooh.
With the exception of maybe Quake and
Capitan.
Capitan. Yeah, Capitan's alright.
I mean, that Quake guy's pretty banging, isn't it? Didn't everyone think
And
he was cheating?
Sano's
He's so
not
good.
bad as well, actually.
He's
I
a really good archer, isn't he?
I think that never got proven though, but yeah, some of
No,
his
no.
stuff
I
was
mean,
a bit
he's good
dodgy.
enough that people accused him, right? That means you're pretty good, right?
I haven't seen him hit them shots in a while though. In
I
like
mean,
a
every
year.
archer's been accused, so is every archer.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Often by me. That Hepri, I've seen him a decent amount. I think he's pretty decent. But that's fair. Do you guys? I mean, Scar, who have you got at number 10?
I do have Menace and BLD at 9 and 10.
Okay, so I mean, what are your thoughts on Menace then?
I think overall they look like a decent team. I'm just not sure like how experienced they are in comparison to the other teams that we have in B. It's really tough to call. As you said, they're Turkish players, and maybe mainland Europe is not that connected to the Turkish scene. I don't know all of their players. I think they have solid players, but I think it's just not enough to really compete with the rest of Div B.
Fair enough. And OGL?
I'm going to put Doff at the bottom.
So you're picking. So so this is week 1. After week 1, in which Doff have beaten BLD, you're sticking them at number 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want
Just
to
a
explain
lucky
your
one there.
do you want to explain your reasoning a little there?
Well, I mean, they had a good result against Castellan in whichever tournament that was, where they got a draw
What,
against us,
5
and that's
years ago?
probably their best result ever. So, you can start off strong, but it doesn't mean you're going to finish strong when they're going to finish last.
I mean, I would say that in the last season of WNL, they actually managed to stay in the division ahead of Birds of Hermes, I believe it was.
Yeah.
So they've proven before in the previous season that they're capable of staying up. I mean, it seems a bit of a weird decision to stick them in 10th.
I mean, are you arguing with me here? That's my statement.
I am arguing with you, yeah. I guess you could call it a moot point.
They've got some. I think they've got some good players.
I
they've
think
got,
they've got some good players.
I got Duff
They obviously got
quite
Kane,
high up.
who's good, but I don't know what he's playing. He seems to be playing crossover or Archer and Cav based on the screenshots. So I'm not sure what's going on there.
I think he made the decision to switch to Cav some time ago, right? But I mean, everyone knows that he's a brilliant shot, so sometimes they just
Wow.
put him on ranged.
We all know what's behind this, and that's OGL's ancient enmity with the House of Defenders of Faith. So we'll move on to number 9.
Baseless accusation.
We'll move on to number 9. Sky, you said BLD. Do you want us to talk us through that one a little bit?
Yeah, BLD is kind of for the same reason as Menace. They were in Div C last season, right? They were like, I think, 6th place or something like that. I mean, they're a solid team. I think they're really good players like Gordios, Flavin, that were like playing in top teams for quite some time. I think they're just not as interested anymore in the game. In general, I think the players that are playing maybe just not that interested anymore, and overall, I think just not good enough to compete with the rest.
Fair enough. Anchor, what have you got number 9?
Number 9's I've got the same team. I
Okay.
didn't write down BLD. I just wrote down Turk team, so I wasn't sure how to pronounce it.
Fantastic.
Okay, I think that's pretty fair. They've got a couple of really good players. And OGL?
Yeah, I'll put Menace at that point for the reasons discussed before.
Okay. BLG, OGL, where have you got them?
BLD.
Yeah.
I had them like 6th-ish, kind
Okay.
of middling team. I think.
Okay, well, we'll talk about maybe what they've got going for them a little bit later on when we get to that level then. So we'll go on to number 8, Anchor.
Number 8. Oh, I've got Doff. Yeah.
Okay.
I think they've got some decent players. Maybe I could put them higher.
I completely disagree with that. I think Doff is much better than that.
I look at this roster. I mean, they've got some pretty good players. Big Laugh, White Noise, Erminas, Violet, Supernova, Krex.
Where are the good players?
Kohath, Kane, Hansworth, Bertalicious, Ganny. It's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, maybe I should have put them higher. I probably swapped them with MOB.
Berta has been playing really well. Verdi has been stepping up, right? Called him best Italian infantry. They picked up Kane. They got Ganni. Like to me, it's a super good team too.
So you're swapping them now with MOB then?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. Do you want to talk us through MOB then? What's good about them? Why are they not right at the bottom? And then like what do you think they're going to struggle with?
Let me just get a roster up quick. They got some decent players in there. Like Slow is one of them players. A bit like Demon, where he probably could have gone to that next level, but I think he just chose not to. They got Pepper, obviously, who's played for a long time. Like when you give him time to shoot, he fucking does hit shots. Like people do underestimate Pepper quite a bit.
I mean, that
Then you
team
got
looks
some.
quite good. I agree.
Yeah, you got Sigma. Is it Wolger? I think you pronounce it. They're pretty good.
Yeah, well,
I think they've been at MLB since the beginning. They've improved quite a lot in the past 2-3 years.
I mean,
I don't know if you really have any imp there, do you?
That Sigma guy hits
Yeah.
shots like for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
I think they
lack of inf, maybe.
they lack some punch on close maps.
I think Raven will be their man for that, I guess. I mean, that guy proved
not.
last season where he was slaying. I think he was pretty near the top of the one-handed kills in the last season. I can't remember. I imagine that was in B or C. Yeah,
It
so
seems
I mean,
like it got quite a good B this season. I think last season it wasn't as good level as this.
Yeah, I think there's probably about 3 or 4 teams that could actually realistically win this.
okay, well that's pretty good. Do you guys have MOB anywhere near this 8th place?
I have him on 8th place actually. Yeah.
You have them on 8th as well?
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything you want to add about them? I mean, that's quite low. What's holding them back?
I mean, they're kind of like Wolfpack, right, with a couple of other players. They picked up Slow, Raven, as you said, some other guys, I think. I think they're just not as competitive as the other teams. When they had like Apfel and some other guys, they were like sort of on the rise, so to say, and trying to take it a bit more seriously, but apparently that fell apart, which led to Apfel leaving and looking for other teams. So I'm not sure really if the players that are left are really that interested competitively.
And OGL, who have you got in 8th?
I had MOB there, but now I'm going to change it and I'm going to put Invictus Legion there instead.
Okay.
Because I think Invictus Legion have like quite decent players, but the overall cohesion isn't going to be there, and I feel like they're going to crumble. I'm going to call it now. They're going to crumble.
you think they're going to crumble?
They're
Big
going to
call, that.
Invictus
Big call.
Legion are going to crumble.
And why do you
They're
think
not
they're
going
going
to be
to
a
crumble?
Legion anymore. They're going to be just like a ragtag band.
Yeah. Why?
And then I'll put Menabor on 7th.
I mean, why are you putting Invictus Legion so low?
I just like I look at those names. I know most of those players. I know they're okay, but I just don't see them coming together and forming a unit. You know?
Okay, fair enough. And you've got MOB just after that in 7th.
Yeah.
Okay, and is there anything that hasn't been said about them that you want to say?
No, I think it's fair enough. Yeah, just the lack of it for MLB.
The one thing I would say about them is I think if Stigma and Slow and Raven play well, I think they could get well into the top half. But that'll be my only comment on Menabor. Nice team, nice people. Good luck to them. And then 7th, so we had OGL 7th. Scar, do you want to talk about who have you got in 7th?
Invictus Legion, yeah. I
Okay.
think they're
Do
a
you
bit.
think they're going to crumble?
It's hard to tell because for me they're a bit of like a black box team. There's like no team I associate with players sort of like as a sort of predecessor to Invictus
It's a
Legion.
matchmaking team. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. So it's really unsure whether, as you say, they come together or not. But to be honest, I give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they all seem very interested in the game. As you said, they all play matchmaking. And to be honest, that's like the key ingredient you need to have in order to be successful. Just need to be interested in the game and play it a lot, and they all do. So why not?
I mean, you said all that, but you've also said they're finishing 7th.
Because I see the other because I see the other teams just ahead. Like they're all equally interested in the game and just
Yeah.
have more cohesion. So
Okay, fair enough. And Anchor, your 7th place team?
7th place team is Syrian Empire or Wonwoki.
Okay,
Pretty much just
that
Wonwoki.
seems very low to me.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you think he's
How
been
mu-
cooking the books after he's seen the results already?
Well, I mean, this was done after week 1 results, so I was expecting everyone
I
to...
had this ready to go weeks ago.
Fair enough. Talk us through that. I mean, you've played with Anaconda before, so
yeah,
well, we
I
both
mean,
have. But...
he goes through stages where his morale's really high and morale's really low in his teams. But sometimes it'll be really hard for a tournament, and halfway through, the hype will just die down a bit, and they will just scrim less and less. I think that could probably happen this tournament after that pretty bad loss this week. I mean, how many on the roster have actually like played the game properly in the past year? Maybe like 5, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think Maxi was pretty active.
I think the
Yeah,
question
Maxio's
with that
pretty
team is
good.
who's playing Cav, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Anaconda, that's it.
Is Lou not hidden in there somewhere? Would that
I don't
not
know
be?
if one of these is Lou, perhaps.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Old Man. I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah.
I think that is Shingen actually.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it is.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm having seen with the week 1 result, I think that's probably fair enough. Certainly before the tournament, I would have had him a lot higher.
Yeah, I would have as well. But that result was pretty bad.
Where do you guys, Scar and OJ, where do you have Assyrian Empire?
6th place actually, yeah.
6th place. So you got
I had
next.
them.
Yep.
I had them 5th, just bang in the middle.
Okay. I mean, we may as well talk about now then. Scar, what makes you think they're kind of lower half, given that they were probably one of the teams people were talking about maybe going up to A?
Well, to be honest, I was sort of expecting the same. But I think it's actually just their motivation. I think they went into the tournament saying, okay, let's have a fun last time, last tournament in native. Obviously, like there was the big goodbye from Wonwoki, like I think roughly a year ago, and I think that's
Which
where
one
most
was
of
that?
But like, there was a couple of. Fuck you.
No, I'm just, no, just saying. They have a lot.
So yeah, you know, just most of the players haven't played competitively in quite some time, and I think now they obviously know how it's done. They're gonna be living on their experience, but I'm not sure if they really enough to give it their all and just try to reach the bay.
Ojo, you got them a bit higher. What's good about the Assyrian Empire?
Their archers are excellent. Red Ice, obviously royal. And Maxio even is playing pretty well these days, much as it pains me to say it. I think the only problem with them is they don't believe they can win, can't do they? So I think
they don't have the belief. That's the problem.
Yeah, like they are good enough to win. I think they could easily come top of this division, but they won't, will they? Unless there's some sudden change in attitude.
But
And it's not even Anaconda's fault.
When you look at their Steam group, it says let's have a fun time and win Div B. Kind of that was the attitude when they went into the tournament, and I think
and win Div B.
yeah. So they're expecting sort of that the others are pushovers, which they aren't, and I think that's going to be their downfall.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. You've persuaded me, Scar. I don't think you could, like. There's so many teams in this division, which still have that kind of hunger.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't have that, I can't see it, like, unless your roster was like ludicrously good.
Yeah.
Which this one isn't. It's got a few holes in it. Then I don't see how you can compete with some of these other teams, to be honest. Because House Dana Starfall, that's a team that wants to win, right? That's a team that is playing to win.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
are you really gonna beat them if you're going like half-assed? I think probably not.
And they're
But-
from a magic world of roleplay. And
They
you're
are.
just in a serious empire. You're just a normal empire. Like.
Yeah, but like their empire was probably bigger than House Dane, I guess. I'm just
I
taking
don't
a
know.
punt.
I mean, what's the how you measuring that?
Land mass, but anyway.
Population.
Anyway, well, we've just done sevens, haven't we?
That was 6, I believe.
You did your sixth. I don't think
Ah,
we've
yeah, sorry.
had the 7 from Anki yet.
Yeah, no, I said my 7. My 7
Okay.
was Assyrian.
Okay, so we'll go.
What is your bottom half of the table, Beacon?
I haven't done mine. I'm just
Sorry.
here to
So you came
to
unprepared for
facilitate.
your
I'm
own
just here to
show.
facilitate
Okay.
discussion, really. OGL, we've had your 7th. I don't think we have had your 7th, have we?
Yeah, we have, yeah.
And who was that?
Hashtag exposed.
Didn't write it down, did you?
Someone, I'm sure someone will remember what my 7th was.
I
Wasn't
think
it
because
in-
we've had your
in the
5th.
sixth?
6th of BLD though.
Okay. Anyway, all right. We'll go on to the 6th then. So you got BLD. Why have you placed them so damn high?
Flavin is very good. Franz Joseph is very good. Thorin's good.
Yeah. What's
they're
Thorin
just
do?
all pretty. He's Archer.
Okay.
They're just pretty solid team overall, I think.
How did they do in week 1?
They did pretty poorly in week 1, I believe.
Yeah. What's the result?
2-12.
To
Some crap team probably.
I think it was Defenders of Faith, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
Man, another
9-3.
lucky result for them.
That's just a bit weird, isn't it? Like they're 5th, whilst you've put Duff last. It's a weird one. Food for thought. Scar, who have you got in 6th?
Assyrian Empire, as I said, like.
Okay, yeah. And Anchor,
I've got Doff in 6.
you got Duff, so you've got 'em a bit higher. Scar, you've got them even higher, is that right?
Doff, yeah, I got him at 4.
Okay, so I mean, Anchor, what do you think will stop Doff cracking on into the second half of the division?
Probably their inf, really. They've only got 1 or 2. Ganny's pretty good inf. He's been around for a while.
Raven's not bad either, right?
Is he on Doff? No, he's on MOB, isn't he?
Oh yeah, you're quite right.
Verdi is doing well, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot about Verdi. Yeah, Verdi's quite... That's
Tom
Tom
54P.
54P, isn't it? Yeah, he's not bad as well. But other than that, I don't see any other inf on their roster, really. Apart from White Noise, maybe.
I know what Krex plays.
I think Viglif plays Inf, doesn't he?
Infocaf.
Inf,
Not sure.
yeah.
Honestly, I think like a lot of the old Dove core players can multi-class a lot, right? Like
Poorly.
as Wiglaf. Can you give us a rundown of the history you had with Dolph?
I don't think anyone wants to.
We don't need a segment dedicated to that. I don't think.
Can we have a spin-off
Would
show
have been
for
interesting
that?
for sure.
Shall we chop onto the 5th place then? A few of you have said yours. Has anyone not said their 5th place?
I got Senate at 5th. Actually, that might be a
Okay.
bit surprising.
I
Why
think
is
that
Arnie in
surprising.
Senate? What's going on
I've
there?
got Senate as well.
Okay, you got
That's
Senate
good.
5th as well. This is
Yeah.
surprises me. I thought they'd be top 2 or 3 for most people. OJ, where have you got them?
4th. Why is Arnie in there?
Because he's mates with Gibby, I suppose.
But Gibby's not in there.
Wait, Arnie is in Senate?
Yeah.
He's Siphon.
He tried to get on a Unity team, but we said no.
And they
Because
took
we
you
have
So
enough.
weird.
instead.
Wasn't Arnie done with Robin and deleted everyone off Steam?
Hang on, let me
No
check.
idea, but I
I
mean,
never heard that. I'm not
he
sure.
is twice the player.
I think
of,
he has like 5 players left on Steam. Like he removed everyone.
I mean, he's a lot better than everybody else in the division, surely.
But he's also a player who needs a ton of attention to function within a team. If he doesn't get any, he's just gonna be disinterested and cause issues.
Okay, fair enough. Senate, let's talk because I'd have them probably 2nd or maybe 1st. So why have you got them so low?
Why do we have to defend? Why have you got them so high? All they've got is Siphon, Arnie, who's obviously very good. Puff, he's not even good anymore, so not him. Jara and Ice, that's all they've got. 3 players. Good players, yes, but like they're not going to be single-handedly taking out all of these teams, are they?
I don't think that's all they've got, really.
Name
They've
one
got-
other player that they have.
Zazu.
Zazu's pretty
Jara.
good imp. Like Zazu on the scale of
Okay,
these imps,
okay,
Zazu will
I see
Zazu will cream most of these imps. Like,
I
honestly.
think you're overrating Zazu a
I
bit.
think Zazu,
He's played inverse for like 2 years and he still like misses half his swings.
I think he'll do a lot of work at this level. I remember for Bird of Hermes, he was doing some serious work in the last Division B, which I don't think was significantly different from this one, despite what you lot have said.
I think what a big plus is for Senate is just the atmosphere within the team. Like I marked for them, I think twice or something like that, and they just have a really good atmosphere to
a
play
public
competitive.
school atmosphere.
Actually, I didn't see Yara on the roster. Maybe I should put him as maybe first.
Ah,
Maybe
just-
now
just,
that I've
you
seen
know,
Yara.
Kinda laid back, not taking themselves too seriously. I think that's good because it helps with tilting.
Yeah, I agree. I think
I bet the player Pig from House Day in the Starfall would beat Zazu.
maybe we can.
Don't think you've seen Pig play.
I haven't, but I'm going to bet that anyway.
I have.
How is Pig good?
He's not bad, but
There
he
you go.
relies on heavy armor and mercs and just relying on getting hits
Isn't
bounced
that all of
against them.
Mercs?
Not really. It's
Doesn't
pretty easy to
sound
kill
like that
10
would-
guns on mercs.
Doesn't sound like that would be good in native though, relying on hits bouncing off. SK.
What's Matt said? Okay, what did he say though?
Oh, that is even more surprising considering Malta wiped the floor with Unity.
Anchor.
Yeah, but I haven't
response?
really seen Edda. Like every time we play Malta in a scrim, Edda hasn't been there, so maybe that's the reason why. Maybe
he
he
the-
doesn't come.
Is he the
scrims.
big game changer?
I think he is. Yeah, definitely.
But surely that makes Senate look good, right? Surely that makes them.
Definitely.
You've got to think they're a promotion contender.
Nah.
Nah.
You're unconvinced. So I mean, you're just saying they lack enough good players, you guys.
I
yeah?
think you can't rely on like 3 players in your roster not being able to block attacks. You can't win matches with that.
Okay, and Scar, any last thoughts on the Senate?
I'm wondering why they lost Yona. Has he just decided to not play because he was one of the most experienced players ever in the game, right? And
If they still
having
had
him in the
Yona-
team.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
they still had Jonah, they would shoot up in my estimations, yeah.
Yeah.
That Castellan connection pushing him
Always.
up. So
Alumni. Castellan alumni.
I think everybody else has done their 6.
Shadow
have
Masters
they?
of the Sea.
Exactly.
If everyone's done that, should we go on to 5? Anyone not said their
I think
5?
that was just 5.
That was 5.
Bloody
that was
hell,
my
someone
4,
else
I
needs
think.
to MC this, don't they? We'll do our 4th then. You said one of you said your 4th, haven't they?
I said my 4th.
Okay, which was Defenders of Faith, right? No, I'm
No.
joking. Was the
No.
Senate. So Scar, who have you got in 4th?
Doff. I mean, we spoke about them quite a bit, right? So I think overall they're just a super solid team. I think picking up Kane has helping them a lot. I spoke to them briefly. They've been doing all right in scrims apparently, so why not? Honestly, impressive first week result, just 9-0 clean against BLD.
I
Why
can
not?
get behind this. I think if you look at its DOF roster, it's strong across the board. Like it's none. Listen, none of them are like even close to Arnie, who if he plays will surely absolutely just dominate everybody else. But if you look across the board, they're not weak in a single area, and they've got lots of experienced players. They'll have a good atmosphere. I think
Weak
they'll
in
do pretty well.
personality.
Well, I'm not going to get into your vendetta. But suffice to say, I actually think that's probably the one placement so far I agree with at all. Fourth, Scott, Anchor, who have you got?
I've got Fallen Pride as fourth.
Fallen Pride, okay, that's the first time we've heard them mentioned.
Oh, they were
so
my 7th. Sorry, on you go.
they were your 7th. You definitely didn't mention them.
Yeah, but they are my 7th.
I think you
Okay.
skipped some.
Let's skip back then.
Why?
Why do you have them as 7th?
I mean, they have like they're pretty, just like mediocre across the board. Really, they have a couple of good players, sure, but like no one. There's nothing outstanding there in terms of class or player, is there?
I
mean,
not
whoever
actually
put
played
them
against
fourth
many of
would-
these, to be honest. I think they all seem quite good.
Yeah,
So,
I think they've got a lot of decent players there. They've definitely. I think they've got one of the most well-rounded rosters.
Name one good player there.
It's not about the good players; it's about decent players.
Yeah, he didn't say good. He said decent.
Classy had a really
Name
good.
one decent player.
Classy had a really good first week, right?
Snowblind's decent.
Snowblind is
is
decent. Yeah, you're right.
I think a lot of them are pretty good. Like, they're not amazing, but they're all pretty decent. Like, I think middle of the pack, I'd guess. But I mean, they drew with the Senate. I mean, that's a kind of rivalry they've been fighting over for a long time. But they seem to come out as equals most of the time, don't they?
Is that a manufactured rivalry though?
Feels a little manufactured to me.
I think it's a bit, but it's nothing too personal. I don't think, from what I
But
know anyway.
then it's nothing.
Yeah,
gotta-
we'd
you
like them
gotta-
to get a bit more
You
personal
gotta
about
hate
it.
each other, man.
Yeah, you've got to like.
If you're not at each other's throats constantly, it's not a rivalry. Sorry.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they went at each other a little bit. Maybe with some really vicious stuff, but
Yeah, on WNL servers.
not on WNL servers.
Oh, okay,
Cannot
my
condone
mistake.
that.
Are you
It
allowed
has
to
be
court
done.
skip on WNL servers now? I'm not sure.
Are you allowed to what?
You're allowed to court skip, or do you get warned for that?
No.
You don't get warned for corpse kicking. I don't care about that.
What about corpse drilling?
I do what you want with corpses on WNL servers, mate. You heard it here first. Alright, Fallen Pride. We'll go back to you now, Anchor. You've got them a lot higher than OGL. What do you think make of the team?
I just said it, but they just got a lot of decent players. I think they've got a well-rounded roster.
Name one decent.
You just fucking asked me.
We're not.
Just
Alright.
ask the same
Okay.
question.
And then Scar, where have you got FP?
In third, actually.
In third, so just one up from Anchor.
Yeah, same reason as Anchor.
Yeah, just well rounded. Okay.
Yeah.
And then your fourth place was?
What's going on? Was that to me?
That was right. Oh, sorry. Say again. Doff. Sorry, Razor just wrote to me on Steam, so I was a bit distracted.
Okay, no, that's all right.
What did you write?
He feels like playing Rob and listening to the podcast. Too bad, mate. Too bad, man.
Fucking 4 weeks too late.
Sign-ups closed last week, bro. We tried to make it happen. Huh? There was some guy who didn't want to play.
Third place, OGL. Who you got in third?
I'm gonna put Dane there actually.
You can put House Dane of Starfall. I think a few people might have him at number one. Why do you think they're third? What's good? What's bad? Talk to me.
I just don't respect Merck's players.
They were pretty much all
They
native.
they probably are a number one team, but like they shouldn't be because Merck's players like they've ruined the scene. They actually have.
Because we're the best, you mean?
You're not the best. You're just.
I mean, how many Mercs players have come over and just like dominated pretty much?
By being just absolutely brainless idiots. To be honest, and it's insulting.
They have been pretty good. A lot have come over.
Yeah, but like, have they actually been good?
I mean, yeah.
Or do they just get results?
Same difference, isn't it?
It's not, is it?
Well, I'm sure we can talk about that another time. So you just don't like them because they're in mercs players and you
I
think their
just
roster's not that good.
Yeah, just run around with armor and just like imp and cav and just
So they're
pathetic.
just. I mean, you obviously think they're decent.
Oh
You
yeah,
put
they're
them pretty
really
high.
good at the game. Yeah.
So I mean, you put them third. That's quite good. Dane, Scar, where have you got them?
First.
Okay.
They're my big favorites.
Okay, and Anchor, where have you got them?
Tight one. This there could be first or second between them and Donor. I'd say it's probably the most tightly tied teams. I'd say from our list.
Okay.
When I had Döner down as second, I thought that was a really outrageous opinion, but apparently not.
So we'll skip them then. Who do you guys have as third then, Scar?
Third is Fallen Pride.
Fallen Pride, yeah, and Anchor.
I've got Invictus Legion at that third.
Bloody hell! What's caused this then? OGL's
just
told me they're
believes in
going to
the
fall apart.
matchmaking elite, you know.
No, I think they got good players. Yeah, Black Devil's pretty good. This Popo Whisk guy is pretty good. X-Skill is pretty good. Rexar is not a bad cav. Nazgulis, I don't know what he plays these days, Archer or cav, but he's not bad.
Okay, I mean that's pretty highly ranked. I do think maybe the other guys were underrating them a little bit. I probably have them about middle of the pack, maybe fifth, sixth. Next up, we've got second place. Have you made your decision, Anchor?
I can't make a decision between the two. They're just too tight.
That you got them as too close to call then.
Yeah. Between
Okay.
Donor and Dane.
Do you want to talk to me about both of them and then why they're so evenly matched?
I'll talk about Donor first. I think they've got some good players as well. A really well-running roster. They got like Erilak, who's been like fifth choice archer for Turkey for the last 10 years. He's not bad. Pilgrim, he's a really good inf. Played in Milwaukee for quite a few years. I played with him a couple of times. He's really good. You got Griffin as well, who hasn't been at the level you'd expect from him in a good couple of years now, but he still puts in a decent shift. That's about it.
He's been commanding though, right, Griffin? So
Oh,
that
is
means
he?
some extra work.
I
No,
mean,
in the
last time he
past,
commanded, the team
in the
disbanded
past,
after like 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
no.
Remember that big boys team?
Oh, fair enough. But he was Birds of Hermes was his team, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was last season.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. I just really respect him for like putting in the work every time, leading a team. And I think now when he doesn't have to command, I think it's gonna give him extra time to just play the game and enjoy it.
I think Pilgrim could be commanding as well because he commanded some. I played with like Zach's team recently. I can't remember what it's called now, but yeah, he's not a bad commander either.
And in first place then, sorry, joint with them, you've got, was it Dane, I think?
Yeah, Dane.
Okay, and you've talked about them already. Just a strong, well-rounded roster. Is there any particular standout players you want to talk about from them?
Yeah, I'd say Cloney. He's a really experienced Warven player. I mean, he's fucking played like every mod pretty much for years. Played the game as long as I have, I think. Probably more so. You got Rainbow, obviously, who was like at one point probably the best archer in the scene, but then I think he went inactive for a bit and he never really wanted to play that level again. Then you got Demon, who I mentioned earlier, fucking really good inf. He didn't play in the week one, but I'd imagine he'd play for the rest of the tournament. Then you got Vince as well, who's played in some good teams. He's played in Unity for I think a couple of tournaments. He's done. I mean, he's been a mainstay there apart from this tournament.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's not bad.
He also won Nations Cup in France, right?
Yeah, he did actually.
Yeah,
Is Vince the one with the
I don't
videos
think
with
he's
like
the reason
mega
they won the Nations
sensitivity?
Cup, was he? No,
Yeah.
I wasn't saying that though.
no, fair. Scar, first and second. Who have you got?
Dane and Döner as well. I got Dane on first place just because they were really solid throughout in Division C last season. So I
mean, this is a big step up, right? And they're missing. They don't have a lot of the players they had that season, I think.
I don't know. I think though with Rainbow and some other guys, they got a really solid lineup. I think Rainbow could actually be the missing piece because they always had like really solid inf and cav, but in terms of shooters, I think they were lacking maybe a bit.
I think that Aiku, just as a one to point out, I don't think he played in the first week, but
Yeah,
I
he
was
was
very
imp,
impressed
right?
with him
Yeah.
in Division C last season.
Didn't he
really
win like
impressive.
the most one-handed kills award or whatever that was called?
Possibly, but I remember every time I streamed a match, he was always quite outstanding for them. And then in first place, you've got who did you say? Donor.
that was first place and second place
Okay,
Duna. Same reason as Anchor, really, just really good team.
strong across the
It-
board.
It's really surprising that they have so many players that used to play like at the top level, right? The roster's just filled with those guys. Like they have some Turkish players who were playing in really good teams back in the day.
Yeah, Dominique Cav.
Oh yeah, that's a good pickup. Didn't even know he was playing for them.
Yeah, that's a very nice little pick out of that.
Yeah, I expect they will do well. I hope Armin gets to play a lot so she can enjoy the game.
Yep, shout out to Roman. Always
Shout out to
helping out
her,
with the WNL.
doing tons of work. Yeah,
Yeah.
as always.
And then OGL, who you got in the last two positions? We'll try and get this wrapped up so we can crack onto Division A if you guys fancy.
I will put Donner at number 1, and I'm going to move Dane up to number 2. I'll be the bigger man. I'll admit. I'll put my hand up. I was wrong. They are actually.
Will you
okay.
change your position for Doff?
No, they're last. They're just they're rubbish. You're wrong.
Okay. Are we happy with that? Any final comments on Division B? Any players you want to watch out for, etc.?
I'm just really happy with how B has turned out. I think, as we said earlier, just a really well-rounded division.
Do you
Super
think
good
it would-
teams across the board.
Do you think it would be fair to say that while Division A has maybe had a slight drop in the overall skill, Division B has really stepped up? Like Division B looks
Yeah,
I'd agree.
like
Yeah.
relatively
it's
scary.
really good. Division B.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be really competitive. And yeah, the quality's not half bad either. I do agree. I think maybe the bottom half Division A is possibly a bit weaker. But we'll crack on with that in a minute. If you bear with us for 1 second, we will be back in a moment. Right, we're back. I've put on the Division A picture, which is pretty impressively and smoothly done. Takes up just the right amount of the screen as well.
Is it in paint?
Wasn't in paint. I just used the snipping function of Microsoft to cut out the
Nice.
division. Yeah, pretty classy stuff. The top division of the WNL. The teams are Frontline Tactics, Ferocious Trident Wielders, Knights of Malta, House Stark, Unity, and New Warband Order. Two of your teams in here. We'll see if that affects your decisions. We'll start off with Scar, as he has no dog in this fight. Who have you got coming in last place in Division A?
No need to name me there by saying dog.
Last place, OGL. And New World in Order. I think I love the guys really, and I'm really glad that they're back. I just fear that they're not gonna put in the time.
Just kill us. There's no need to give us nice words first. Just kill us.
No, there's no reason to kill you. You're doing that yourself by not putting in enough time and trying, man.
Oof, that's true.
I mean, on paper they're obviously a brilliant team. It's just I don't know how dedicated again they will be, and I think just the rest of the teams just put in tons and tons more time than they do. But who knows if they start trying, and if sort of their sense of honor was triggered by this result last week, who knows what they can do.
I mean,
Man.
you're putting a team in last place in the division, right? They've got as Cavalry, Gnomes, Ferunian, Hopkin, Dopey. They've got as Archer, OGL, Prince, Attila, Sphere. I mean, that seems harsh.
It is harsh, but then they got some 12-0, and I mean some of the sure FT are obviously top dogs and really difficult to beat.
Can you stop naming me, please?
No. And but still, you know, it seemed to me that it just crumbled way too quickly, way too easily. Like the close map was not close at all.
You're not buying this is our first training match thing at all, then, are you?
No, because in order to make the decision to to do no training matches, that shows just your mindset and mentality for the tournament. Sorry, but Like
they
either
I
either you
think
go
they
into the
decided.
tournament and you say, okay, we want to do well, and then you put in the time, do some trainings, or you say, all right, we don't want to do well, and then you end up last.
I think they joined. They decided they were going to play quite late, right? So it's perhaps understandable they didn't put in that many training matches.
As far as I understand, if I can come to the defense of NWO, I think we're doing the reverse frontline tactics, where instead of doing loads of trainings and getting really good at the start of the tournament and then just stopping playing at the end and losing, we're actually going to do the reverse. We're going to lose at the start and then win at the end.
Okay, so I mean,
Makes sense.
I don't know if it does, but I really, when I look at this roster, if their infantry actually show up, so I mean, if you had like Super Lily, Bruce, Oliver and that lot, I think they.
When was the last time Super Lily played a competitive match?
I mean, he's on the roster twice, so he's surely going to turn up. No, I mean that's fair. I mean they've got some. It's hard. I'm quite a nostalgic person, and there's a lot of players on here that I'm quite fond of.
I'm the first person to want him to do well, really. I mean, I'm in contact with most of them, to be honest. Like Faroon played CS with the guy, like it's fair as well. It's just
They need
you
to get a
know
win on the board though this week, otherwise.
they need to get the ball rolling somehow. and,
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
Depends what
at
the
moment.
establishment puts us up against, though.
Yeah, no,
That-
the fixture's already out. I think you're
Oh,
playing
are they?
Star.
Where are we playing?
COGL, it's your time to step up. You know, become the
Playing House
leader you
Stark, I
were
think.
destined to be. You know, and then just repeat Castellans and make NWO a great team in the MMA. What do you think?
I mean, we'll see.
Oh, who's leading, by the way?
I led the second map.
Oh, dear.
Boris led the first
Oh
one.
boy! All right, that's done then.
What do you mean? That's caused you to change our placement, surely. Scar?
Well, I mean this is. I mean people can take the piss all they want, but I mean Castellans was led by OGL, and they did pretty well whilst they were around, if I recall. In fact, I think there was quite a long period where they kicked Apistropo's head in training matches.
And then lost the
About 2
tournament.
weeks, I think it was.
Yeah, and then lost to us, but you know.
Oh, we didn't lose to you. We lost to the Polish Eagles.
Yeah, well, even worse. But yeah, I mean, I'd personally have them a little bit higher. I think I'd probably have them about fourth, maybe.
Who would you have below them?
I'd probably have House Stark last, and then Ferocious Trident Wielders after them. But
That's my positioning.
we will talk to Anko. Who have you got in sixth place?
6th place, I've got House Stark. It's pretty tight though between them and FTW, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, it looked tight on Sunday, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, FTW are just like, I think they hit their peak a while ago. Like they've strengthened their roster, but there's just something off in that team that's, I mean, you'd imagine it would be their mainstays. Like people like Mines and Robin and like Soul, like, since I started playing, it's not like they haven't improved. It's just that they've stayed at that same level of player. You know, like the tier 2, tier 3 inf maybe, and like they've improved, but other people have improved faster and gone up tiers. Like they've just kind of stagnated, is what I'd say, over the years.
Okay, and you've got them in fifth.
What are the top
Yeah,
5
I do.
infantry at the moment? I'm interested.
Top 5 infantry.
Yeah.
Playing in this tournament.
Yeah.
Probably say Brian. I don't think Tomias is really playing that much anymore, so I wouldn't put Tomias there. Putting me, Brian, Eder, Habby, and Charlini, I'd say.
Interesting. All right.
Okay, fair enough. And
I
then
don't know if I put Habby up there. Like, Habby's good. But I don't know
Habby,
if he's
I
top
think you
5.
really underrate Habby, honestly.
I'd put Eder up there if he hadn't lost against Watley and Toy.
He won with them, didn't he? He's on the same team.
No, I mean in the 2v2.
Oh,
And also, he's not in the same team, I don't think. He's in the.
yeah, he's in Malta with them.
He's an FT, isn't he? Albert
No.
Einstein? Isn't that Eder?
That's error, yeah.
Yeah,
He's-
That's Arrow. Oh, Arrow, you meant. Not
Yeah,
you.
sorry.
Sorry, my
What did I?
bad. Sorry, that was my bad.
So Stark, Anko, what are your thoughts on that team?
Oh, Eder. No, that's not it.
they were BE, aren't they? They're one of
Yeah,
Black-
basically.
Yeah, B plus some friends, right?
I do wonder what happened to them. like they lost some of their core infantry players,
Yeah,
right?
I
Rename.
think they went to. I think some of the players like Ghazi, I think left. He was like, probably their best player. And I think Watch play for them as well. I think.
Yeah,
Not
he
sure.
did. Pretty
Yeah,
sure
so
he
that's
did.
two. That's two they have gone.
You got
I
any
can't see-
intel on that? What happened?
I mean, I'd imagine they just probably assumed FTW would be a step up. But I mean, if they'd stayed with them, I think they'd be better. They'd definitely be better than FTW. So I'm not. I don't see what the point in that was. I
It was
don't
a
think there's any
sideways move,
drama
isn't
there.
it? Really. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
has anyone? I mean, Sky, do you have House Stark somewhere nearby? I presume.
I got them in 5th place. And then,
Fifth.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, any thoughts on them then?
Yeah, honestly, I'm just a bit disappointed that they didn't stick together as BE, but overall, I think they can still do well.
Yeah, fair enough. And then OGL, you have them in last place.
Yeah, I was the same as you, Stark and FTW 6 and 5.
And any comments on Stark or FTW?
Stark's another bit of like a matchmaking team, I feel. Slepper, Longinus, and all that, like they're good players, but they're like they only play matchmaking
I
really.
mean, Slepper was popping off on Sunday. Like,
Meh.
you're not convinced?
Nah.
No, nor am I. I think they're pretty good. I think they'll struggle to pick up wins against anyone other than FTW. We'll see how. I have a feeling New Blood and Order are going to pick themselves up and dust themselves off. I think FTW, they're an interesting one. Probably not quite the sum of their parts. Where do you have them, Mojo? You have them 5th, is that right?
Yes, 5th, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, there is something lacking there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like, you can't really put your finger on what it is, but
when you look at that roster, that's a banging roster.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look
But
at
that's
it.
a good roster, and then BD should be like the finishing touch there, where it's like, okay, they're actually going to do really well, but I don't think they will.
I mean, look
I mean,
at that team.
maybe they will, but
Stone Cold killers.
They've got
like.
too many inf. They've got shitload of inf. I
Yeah,
don't
they
know
have.
why.
They have got too many imps, but like, there's still some very good players in the other. I mean, there's some amazing rangers there. Like,
Yep.
I mean, they've
Anubis,
got what Matafix, Anubis, Benedetto. Like that's. I mean, that's tier 1 like ranger squad.
Yeah, I don't quite get it, to be honest. Like, just looking at the roster, they could be a contender, to be honest. They have a good run.
I think Siphon's quite important there. Actually, I didn't realize he was playing for FTW. The real
Yeah,
Siphon. Because
he
he's
is.
like he's actually quite solid and smart, and he'll just like survive for ages. But he's not crap either.
Picked up BD as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really strong roster, but I think I kind of agree with what Anchor was saying, where they've never quite seemed to, despite having really good rosters or some good skilled players, they never quite crack on and maybe achieve what they could achieve, or crack on and get a little bit better than they are, despite having a really good team. Because it looks like Sponge has left. But I mean, that guy, have you duelled him? Bloody hell! It's a total nightmare. Like he absolutely obliterates me. But another one of their players who
Literally,
maybe
he chambers every single hit.
yeah, but perhaps a little
It's
bit just
insane.
about not always able to translate that into battle. And you'd probably say similar things for Minds and Soul, right? All of them are very good 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 infantry, and in the melee fight they perform really well. But taking out that scenario, stick them in a battle, they don't seem to quite hit the heights you'd hope they would.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Hot take here from Winston in the chat saying Bullis is the best infantry in the day. Shout out to Bulls.
Bullets is very good
Server bug.
infantry. I do agree with that. So has everyone said their 5th place now? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we'll go on to 4th place. Anchor, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I've got NWO in 4th. I mean, they could even. I think they could be most teams in this division, but it just depends on how active they are over in the coming weeks. Like their cav are very good. I would admit that, and most of them have been quite active recently, so that's what they've got going for them. It's just their info really that could let them down. But if they all pick up their activity, but they've only got 5 weeks to do it in, and some of these guys haven't played in like a year or 2 years at least. So is 5 weeks enough to get rid of that rust? I mean, depends how much they play, I suppose.
I think it is, but you have to grind, right?
Yeah.
If they all grind matchmaking. Are they playing matchmaking? Are you two playing matchmaking?
I don't think anyone should play matchmaking. I think it ruins your skill.
Yeah, I think
Where do you practice?
Well, we don't. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's tough, honestly. I mean, looking at the names, obviously all could yeah, comes down to the time they put into.
I mean, looking at this NWO roster and this FTW roster, I'm like, wow, look at these look like stone cold absolute killers. Like these rosters look sick.
Yeah.
But I don't think either are likely to really get past that fourth place, particularly, because I think the teams ahead of them are just a bit more dedicated at this point, to be honest.
Yep, I'd agree.
Fourth place, as everybody else said, then I think everyone's kind of just had Stark, NWO, and FTW in some form of order, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna.
I'd say we could beat Malta. Like, I'm not gonna say we will, because like as you say about activity levels, but on paper, like team versus team, we could beat Malta, and we should. But you know,
I mean,
depends on.
I'd say on paper, perhaps FTW could even beat Malta, right?
Yeah.
Like on paper, I mean, but
I think
Yeah,
Malta,
they have a bit more.
I think Malta is stronger than people.
I think Malta have a bit
give
more
them credit
like
for.
breadth of like classes and stuff. That's Malta's strength.
I'd say Norman Guy probably considerably better cav than
Yeah.
anybody on FTW, I'd guess.
Yeah, and like even Mace is pretty good at cav and stuff, and they've got
Yeah.
Watley, who's like obviously Watley's an idiot, but he does actually do quite well. Carpe can do well when he wants to.
Yeah, I mean, Wally's pretty always pretty consistent. At both Inf and Cavalry, actually, he seems to pick up a lot of kills. So
Oh,
I'm guessing.
Has Carpe made his return? I thought he completed.
Is he not playing? Is he?
Ah, he is actually. I'm just.
Oh, okay.
So welcome back, Carpe, a stalwart of the scene. I think he was picking fights with FT and that in the thread, if you remember the sign-up thread.
That was juicy.
Oh yeah, something about Aseriado, wasn't it? Some shit.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh,
I could not be asked to read it. To be honest.
The times when AE was interested are over. Like.
Yeah, I can't. Well, I love a bit of drama, to be fair, but I'm guessing everybody has Knights of Malta in fourth place. Has anybody not got that?
In third place.
I've got him third.
Sorry, third. Yeah.
Yeah, I do have him in third.
How'd you?
I had, like I say, I could.
They're more NWA.
Yeah.
Okay, and if Malta, I mean, would you give Malta a slight advantage over you guys?
At the moment, yeah, with our current performance.
Okay, and what do you think sets them apart from you guys then, just at the moment?
Activity and yeah, they haven't really got weak points that you can obviously point out. Like, I think they're one of those. I can't remember what the term is. They're one of those teams where, you know, if you're good, you should beat them, but you know they're good enough that they're going to stop you if you have weaknesses. What's a good term for that? Gateway team.
Flat track bully.
Sure, that.
Anchor, do you want to talk to me about Knights of Malta? What do you like about the team? What stops them maybe kicking on?
I don't know. They've definitely strengthened this tournament with Apfel and Eder. And even Nox is playing again. He played pretty well actually. I remember playing him in the scrim yesterday, and I'm not sure if he played in the official, but Nox is pretty good when he plays actively as well. Obviously, their archers are pretty deadly, but I wouldn't say they're I wouldn't say they're the hardest to kill. Like if you're going for cav bombs.
What
The archers, you mean?
Habrak and Xerxes.
Yeah, they're definitely
You
strong
get
archers.
there, like.
I mean, Habrak probably, if you take the last like 4 or 5 tournaments, is without doubt the best archer in Europe over the last 2 years.
I wouldn't say that.
I'm talking purely in terms of stats. I'd be confident that he'd be top by a margin.
Are they doing stats this tournament? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we are.
I don't think
this guy consistently is at the top of the headshot charts, top of the KDA ratings. He always seems to be top or thereabouts. I think you're probably underrating him. I don't think you can just read everything from stats. There's a lot you can't tell about a game from stats. But if you're consistently at the top of the stats for archery, for tournament after tournament, that's got to tell you something. Come on.
I wouldn't say that. I think they know how to use their archers well, and not many teams play off their archers, and he's probably not most reliable in terms of survivability and melee, which I think does hold him back a bit.
Yeah, he does just kind of like randomly die sometimes if people go near him.
Okay. And you think, I mean, Scar, you've got them in third, sorry, as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And what will hold them back? What's stopping them beating Unity and beating FT?
I think FT are just a step ahead, as I said, and I think Unity, that was a day off. You can't expect Unity to 0 on the closed map against them. I think on the open maps, stronger.
Was it lack of like they need more good cav or what?
Yeah, I'd say so. Actually, I think that FT and Unity better, stronger cav than Malta. Maybe not too far off, but I think just stronger overall.
Yeah. But you think they're similar
But
in other areas?
regarding the archers, I was going to say, like, I think that Xerxes and Habrak have been playing brilliantly, like, last 2 years. And judging from my own experience playing against them, like, I was always super bored where these two guys were standing and shooting. They just put so much pressure on infantry, and there was that split second where you lowered your shield or didn't look at them, you would I don't know. I feel like they're on top of their game, and I think they got tons of work again.
Yeah, I mean, Alice here says Malta's got the best archers in Division A. I actually think I agree with them. I think those two have proven themselves now. They're very, very good. They're, for me, probably the best archer pair, like the best archer lineup in Division A, for me.
If you're talking pairs, maybe, yeah. I'd say Matt and Apollo are probably better, but they're in different teams, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd say if you had those two together, they'd probably be better. But I just think in terms of a team putting forward two archers, for me, those guys, I'd say for me were the best. I reckon where they fall down is probably their cavalry can't compete with Unity and FT, and I think their infantry, Ida is very good, and it was great to see him put in an excellent performance. But really, apart from him, I'm not sure if they've got like that X factor that the other teams have.
Tell me about Demivar. Like, he's a British imp, right? I've seen him play a bit. Like, he never really seen him before. I think like 1 year ago or something like that. But
yeah, I'm not sure what mod he came from. I don't know if he's from a mod or they just found him on a siege
he
server or
seems to
something.
be doing work in some matches.
Yeah, he's pretty decent actually. I'm not sure why. I mean, there's loads of Malta guys in chat. I'm pretty sure they can answer that, but he's definitely not from Merc. Maybe he's from PW or something.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, he might be British. I've got no idea, to be honest.
Apparently, he was in Niflheim.
Blimey.
Niflheim.
Respect for that, then.
Yeah.
Well, Niflheim is the strongest melee clan, right? So.
Yeah, I mean that's going back some time. I remember once they I think they petitioned for a melee only tournament. I think, if I recall correctly, and they kept challenging people to clan wars where it'd only be because they used to be called clan wars, you see, and they and they'd always demand it was melee only. Yeah, so they've produced a few good players, wasn't Nearfar
Yeah,
and
Niflheim was in
Weirdo?
there. Weirdo, yeah. Bloody Death was in Niflheim.
Yeah, so I mean,
Charlene?
was
Yeah,
it?
Charlene,
Blimey,
right, Charlene.
yeah. So quite maybe they should reform then. And
Didn't they have like the single player like ranking system?
Did they?
What?
So did they only recruit infantry?
They were like a dual clan. Like they only really, there was like Swadia. Do you remember them?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a bit like that really, but like with a Viking theme instead of like a knight theme. That was about it. They're a bit. I think they're a little bit role playish. Nothing wrong with that, but it was a bit.
Would they beat Assyrian Empire?
No, I think Assyrian Empire would kick their head in, to be honest.
I played against them with Army. Like, I think it was one of my first competitive matches ever. They just smashed our head in. Like, I think that was in Frosty Village, that like super open map. Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was an awful map. Although I have some fond memories of it. Maybe we should bring it back. Well,
we had a good match in that map once. Let's bring it back.
Yeah, I remember we beat IG on it like in 2000 and I don't know.
A disturbing look into
12.
the mind of Deacon.
Yeah.
For how the maps get decided.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I put them to a vote now. Nobody has it. Everyone just calls me a corrupt admini, and then I have to pick all those shit maps instead.
Yeah.
Which is why we end up with Waterfall.
Oh, is that in the tournament?
I know. People vote
Why is
for it.
that turmeric-covered map?
Why do people
why
love
is it
it?
allowed?
Well, this is why. First, you had Brexit. I should have learned after that, shouldn't I? Don't put stuff to a public vote. Now we got bloody Waterfall instead of Desolation
Deacon.
Valley.
Deacon pretending that he didn't vote for Brexit. So chat.
I would have loved to play Desolation Valley. I think it would have been fucking good.
Yeah,
I think that was a good map.
that
Just
was
'cause
Yeah,
good.
honestly, I think people completely overreact when it comes to Desolation Valley. I think it's actually a fine map. I think
It's just because of that. It's just
that
because of
unlucky
IR game.
final.
yeah,
Yeah,
ruined
exactly.
it once with the Norwich versus Rodox, but
Well, I just
I
think
mean-
there's a whole skill set which I think a lot of modern European teams haven't really had to learn, which is just like
Yeah.
proper open
it's,
open
it's
maps.
the one thing the Americans were right about.
Yeah, I do agree. I've always kind of appreciated that about the American teams because the open maps now, a lot of them are barely open. Like they would have been considered mixed maps
Like Waterfall's
6 years ago.
it's got so much cover. It's an archer map. Like everyone just runs 3 archers on Waterfall because it's like
Yeah,
yeah.
I do agree. We have digressed, however. So we'll go to number 2 spot. We all know who Anchor has in number 2, but OGL, who do you have?
Yeah, I'd put Unity there. I do think it is quite close between FT. Like obviously FT got off to like a dominating start and Unity lost, but I do think both have it within them to win.
They both have it. So I mean, what do you think? Why are they just behind?
It's just something about the Unity guys. Like sometimes, I think we've all experienced it, where sometimes they like turn it on and they're just like super sick for weeks on end, and sometimes they just drop off, and like it's impossible to know why.
One goal syndrome, I call it.
Yeah. So
let's
I mean,
let's
hopefully
hope it
they don't do that.
stays the dream and does become a meme.
I think some of the problem with Unity is like it's super reliant on Thor and Brian just being like active and just doing really well all the time. I think if they stop doing well, like they're still good, obviously, because they're all good players, but then they would drop down to kind of like multi-level, don't they?
Scar, thoughts on? I mean, who you have Unity in second as well?
Yeah, I mean, I just largely before the tournament started, I had FT and Unity sort of on par, but obviously, like after that dominating performance by FT, and then, well, horrible loss on the close map, I just couldn't like put them on the same level. So I have Unity at second and FT at first place.
Always respect Paulo's playstyle, though. Like he'll never play safe. He's just an idiot.
I got a lot of respect for Paolo. Great guy,
Like he just
fun
jumps.
guy.
Like he'll be in a 1v2, just jumps around 360 for no reason. Like
He's playing
mean-
Archer this tournament.
That's what he should be playing at because that's his best class by a mile. Like there was a period where he was a very, very good archer.
I thought he was a pretty good cav at one point when he played it for like a year consistently.
yeah, there was a
Maybe.
bit.
I wouldn't say he was a good cav. I'd say he's like, an effective cav. He like picked up a load of kills, which is all you need in a cav, really.
Yeah,
The thing is, though, when you have Matt and Maximo as archers, you bring Paolo playing as archer when he even has to command, which on open maps should
He's
be
not. He's not commanding. It's Javi's commanding.
Oh, I see.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Well, I mean, how? Well, firstly, we'll give you a chance to defend your team. Why are you not second, Anchor? Why are you actually in first place?
I think we just got the most rounded roster in Division A.
Name one good player.
Such a fucking hell.
I mean, who's your imp? Who is your imp? Like?
We got me, Javi, Brian for Kaius is playing Inf and Lepatch, but Lepatch is like in between Inf and Cav right now, so I'm not sure what's happening with that, but he should be playing Inf anyway.
I mean, I don't
Who's-
think that infantry lineup's as good as FT's, really.
Who's
Yeah.
Dwight Fairfield?
That's Javi.
Okay. Who's Alex?
That's Kawhi.
Ah. Oh, Kawhi's quite good actually.
So, I mean, why do you think you're first then? Or I'll rephrase that. Why do you think frontline tactics is second behind you?
I think we've got a better leader for starters. As I say, I think we've got a better roster. I think we personally have a better Inf than them. I think our Archer duo is a lot better than theirs in Matt and Maximu. I'm not sure how active Samu is. I mean, part of the reason they recruited Kiana was because he was inactive, but then he played in week 1, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
And was killing it.
Was he?
Yeah, he got like 8 kills, I think, once.
I mean, I really wouldn't personally. I wouldn't read too much into that match.
Yeah, I
felt
mean,
like it
when
was
you
over after
when
the
you get
first
when you're
three.
free shooting with no pressure on you, I mean, you should be getting that many kills. To be fair.
What do you
Question
think?
is, can you guys put out that pressure like it didn't?
Sorry, what was that?
I was asking, can you guys put out that pressure to stop him from free shooting?
Yeah, I'd say I think our Cav are much better than theirs. So I think
How can
in
you-
the Cav dogfights, I'd say we'd win those.
How can you put pressure on by pressing S though? Are you going to turn away from them and go back towards them?
So I mean, do you think your infantry's better? Yeah. So
I think
do you
so,
think
yeah.
they're better overall? Is there a particular aspect you think they're better at?
I
Because
think
I
they
think
haven't
in a
got a second.
4v4,
I
they'd
think they
probably
haven't
kick
got a
your head
second
in, right?
open map inf. They've got one open map inf in Charlie, and I don't think any of the others are really that great at playing open maps.
Mhm.
Whereas you got me and Habby, which are, I think, probably the two best open map inf in the game, I'd say.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you've probably got slightly better open map infantry. I think that's probably fair. So you've got FT in second place then, and
Yeah.
then I mean Unity. You think you're going to win it? You're confident. Is there anything else you want to say about your team, or you done talking about Unity?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about the team. I think I've said enough.
That's all
Okay.
you've got to say. Interesting.
Gibby saying big bias here. FT gonna body Unity hard.
Okay.
Unity not even competition.
Oof.
Oh,
Malta's
I
Malta's
don't have
second.
anything to say to that.
We
Okay.
got a tournament now. That's
Sieg's not happy either. Unity Cav better than FT Cav, and then some kind of Twitch emoji thing. OGL, talk to me. FC, why are they top?
I don't know. Why are they top? Like, they don't really do anything, do they? They just kill everyone.
that's
hard to-
quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, but like you can't really tell why they kill everyone. They just walk towards you and kill you. Why is
They
that?
got like a super effective commanding style, like the way how Cellini handles teams. I think is very good for the style of teams he put together, where like there's frequent roster changes every tournament. I think he's a strong core overall. There's some players that have stuck with him for quite some time now. I think Sir Alex and Siegs are easily the top two Cav in the tournament. I think Archer, Samu, Piano, and Apollo as third is not shy of anyone in the tournament, and it's solid all around. I think they have no weaknesses.
Yeah. I mean, I have them in first place. I think losing Arnie is actually a little bit of a big deal. I do think he's a bit of an X factor for them. I've seen so many rounds in the past where he, and I said this on Sunday, where he can just kind of pull a win from nowhere. He'll just pick up 2-3 kills in the infantry fight and all kicks on. Gibby obviously amazing. Charlie, I mean all their info really good, right?
I
but-
disagree regarding Arnie. I think having people like Verdin, Arrow, just infantry that do their job, Janksa, don't require much attention, just do their job, turn up every week, cause no issues, beneficial for it.
Fair enough. I think he's a bit of a miss. And then I wonder about the other archers apart from Apollo. I know they're very good. I just don't think they're quite as good as a couple of the other guys in the division. But I still have them first place, mainly because for Alex and Siegs. And I think Charlie's leadership style, it just works so well. He's really good at commanding just these infantry crashes. We saw it time and time again against NWO. It's all going equal, yada yada yada. Boom, the cavalry crash in whilst the infantry's pushing in, and every time it works and it knocks teams down. And he's pretty much been running that for a long time, and it's been pretty hard to stop for most teams. So I think he does quite simple things. He does them very well, and he's got the players to win the division. I think Unity, there's too many question marks around them for me about their ability when it really, really matters. I think we've seen them fall short too many times, and that they've not always kind of not always gained as many medals, perhaps certainly not as many gold medals as a team of their caliber should have in the past.
I think
Yeah,
the only
I'd agree.
challenge for FT will be if and when they lose a match, and it can even be like a couple of training matches. They have to, keep it together because they've had a bit of a history of where they can be the dominant force and then they just suddenly drop off. A bit like Unity, actually. They both have that aspect to them.
Yeah, I think there's.
When did FT suddenly drop off? Like I'm trying.
Well, when AE won, when FT were definitely
Not
the
suddenly
strongest.
dropping off though. They got to the finals.
Well,
yeah,
they
then
did
they
suddenly
stopped playing
drop
the
off.
game for 2 weeks.
Lost to Dopey, don't forget. But that was 66.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fair. Well, we'll see, won't we? I guess. I think, yeah, FT, just to run it down, I think FT finished first, Unity second, Malta third, NWO fourth, FTW fifth, and House Stark sixth. And that is the right answer. So anyone who got that at home, you can take your little sheet, and Tade will give you a load of dinars probably or something, hopefully. If not, then
Will
no.
the WNL sticker books be going out soon? So
Yeah,
people can
yeah, we got
collect their
Panini
shinies?
kind of style sticker books, so you get little shinies of everybody. I think that's that. Does anyone else want to say anything? Talk about the tournament? Anything you want to say about the tournament? Literally anything at all?
I'm just looking forward to how the final is going to transition into Bannerlord and coinciding with the early access Bannerlord release. So that's pretty exciting.
I heard rumours about that. Is that true?
Yeah, that's
we,
true.
We are banking on Talbot's delaying again, obviously.
They will
It's gonna
100%
happen,
delay.
and we're gonna be
It's
fine.
gonna get delayed.
We are actually running quite close, like late March, right, with the finish of
Yeah.
the tournament. But,
Coincidence? I
I'm
think
not. I'm not too concerned. I mean, everybody.
Well, we
I think.
wanted to start 1 week earlier, right? But then the forum update happened, and it was down for like a week, so we had to push back.
Well,
it's
I
part of
don't.
their
I
plan.
don't think people are going to suddenly. I mean, most people in this tournament have probably got beta access already. I'm guessing. A lot of them.
Surprisingly, apart from Leroux and OGL, nobody's playing the game.
So I'm not too concerned about that. We can talk about Bannerlord on another stream, perhaps. At
No
a later
joking,
date. I don't know if people actually would like that. But well, lots of thoughts on it. Not all
Would
negative,
surely be entertaining.
but it could be interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Tade. Actually, he's running that little gambling thread. All the people coming cap in hand after 1 week. Please,
Spend all
sir,
their
can
money.
I've spent all my money. I've spent it all. Can I have some more money, please? No, I mean that's happened to me enough times in real life gambling that I've learned not to do it. But there we are. Anything else to say? Anybody else? Nothing.
Just shout out to anyone who's helped make the WNL happen again.
Yeah, no problem, mate. I'm happy to help.
Glad to have you on board. Our spiritus rector for the WNL. Always a pleasure.
Can we take a moment to reflect on how successful the warband scene is compared to the Mordhau scene in terms of tournaments?
Yeah, what are your
Is it dead
thoughts on
now?
that?
Is it dead now? Is it?
Let's not. I mean, nobody wants to hear this. If
I've got a lot to say.
I'm looking forward to the Div B matches. I think I'll be watching a lot of those. They should be quality. Cheers, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for having me.